Okay, this is assignment 1, week 7 for 7th grade. Find each percent change. State if it is an increase or a decrease. Okay, so on these, the first thing I would look for is just looking at the problem, looking at your numbers. Number 1 goes from 10 to 18, and think, is that an increase in a number or a decrease? Does it get higher? Does it get lower? In this case, 10 to 18, it got higher. It's an increase. So I can get rid of A, and I can get rid of, nope, just A. I was kind of hoping there would be 2. That's okay. So from 10 to 18. So how we're setting up this proportion, since it's a percent that we're looking for, the second half of my ratio has to be x over 100, because it's saying what percent? What is the percent? That's what we don't know. That's what I'm missing, something over 100, because percents are always out of 100. And then from 10 to 18, what goes on top is the amount of change. Sorry, this is hard to write on. The amount of change, so how much it changed by. And then on the bottom of that, you're going to put your original number, whatever that might have been, whatever it started at. So on number 1, my amount of change, I'm figuring out how much it changed by. So to figure that out, I can just subtract these two. 18 minus 10 is 8. So the amount of change that happened was 8. The original, the starting number, was 10. Okay, and we are looking for a percent, so this side is already done for me. That's how it should be every time, x over 100. And then we can cross multiply. So, and you guys are at home, use a calculator. Just use a calculator. 8 times 100 is 800. And then we divide by the number that's across from x, or by itself. So 800 divided by 10 should give you 80%, and it's an increase. So I would write this down somewhere. If you're using some scratch paper, that's fine. I would write that down so you remember amount of change on top of original. Okay, number 2, 14. Oh, they're all decreased. Darn, I was hoping that would be an easy. Okay, from 14 to 7%. Remember, we're going to put the amount of change over the original. So my original number was 14. 14 minus 7 is 7. So the amount of change that occurred was 7 on top of 14. That is a 7. And the other side of my ratio, since we're looking for percent, x over 100. So you're going to multiply, cross multiply 7 times 100, which is 700, and then divide by the number that's by itself, or across from the x, basically. And you should get 50%. And I'm not going to go through all of these because that would be crazy. But number 3, 20 to 19, just remember your amount of change. So subtract those two numbers on top of your original amount. And you are going to be cross multiplying and dividing with x over 100. Just remember that the second half of your ratio on every single one of these is x over 100. I'm going to put a star by the original number for each one. Oh, there's more. 10 and 10. Okay, if you need any help, email me or join a Google Meets with Mr. Brooks, Miss Finley, and myself anytime, and we will help you out. Okay, assignment 2 of week 7. What percent? This is great. When you have what percent, you can assume the second half of your ratio is x over 100. That is wonderful. That's super easy. So because if you see what percent, you already know x over 100 is half of your ratio. Now the first half of that, this is the is of thing. The part over whole. Ratios, we usually look at it as part to whole, but these are worded is over of, which sounds silly, but is over of. And again, I would write that down. If you need to write that down, if you printed this out, or if you're working on a scratch sheet of paper, if you need to write that down on every single problem, do it because it helps you when you have the words down. If you guys did the KW, what is it? Words, known, unknown. That's what helps. When you have the words written down first, then you can just plug in what the problem gives you. So on this one, on number 1, I'll use a different color. What percent? When it says what percent, I know x over 100 is part of my ratio of 160. So the word before the number tells you where it needs to go. Of 160, so it goes, 160 goes where of would go in your ratio. Okay, is 43.2. 43.2. And just like assignment 1, this is cross multiply and divide. So we're going to cross multiply 43.2 times 100. You can use mental math, you can use a calculator, whatever is easiest for you. So 43.2 times 100 is 4,320 divided by the number that's by itself, divided by 160, and that gives you 27%. Okay, number 2, and some of these are worded a little differently than number 1. So number 2, 31% of what is 40? Okay, so they gave us a percent number. So instead of x over 100, we know what goes over 100. So we can fill in 31 over 100. It's the first part that we don't know, but they gave us is 40. So where is would normally go, where we say is over of, is 40 goes on top. Of is what we don't know. Okay, it even says of what? I don't know. So same thing, we want to cross multiply and divide. 100 times 40 divided by 31. Number 3, what is 68% of 153? What is 68%? They gave us the percentage, so that goes over 100 of 153. So that's of, the word of goes with it, so that means it's on the bottom. Remember, write down is over of every single time if that helps. So that's what we don't know. What is? Number 4, 40 is, so that is over of, again. 40 is 16% of what? That's what I don't know. So 16%, I have to put that over 100. Any percent they give us always goes over 100. Cross multiply and divide. Number 5, 70% of 27.2 is what? That's what we don't know. $70 goes over 100 because it's a percent. Of 27.2 is on the bottom because is over of is how we set that up. Is what? That's what I don't know. And then cross multiply 27.2 times 70 divided by 100. I'm going to go through a couple more of these and then I will stop. 121 is what percent? Okay, what percent? That says that we don't know what that is. That's where my x goes. Okay, of 133. So I have my is, I have my of, is over of, and the what percent, that's what I don't know. So that goes over 100. Is goes on top, 121. Of goes on the bottom, 133. 121 times 100 divided by 133. 62.1 is 10% of what? Same thing, look back at these other problems to help you. And then what percent? So part of that is x over 100. That's where you're getting your answer. And then these others, 58% goes over 100. 29 is of what? 34% of what is 51. And I guess I could go through these two. Okay, again, if you have any questions, email me, email Mr. Brooks, email Miss Finley, and we will help you as best we can.